Yo, what is up, guys? It's me, Eve, again here playing Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains, and as always, we're gonna do a review of another character who was introduced for us in the half anniversary. This is the Amon, the half anniversary version of him, and this particular Amon is pretty interesting. I think he's a pretty decent unit as well, but he's got a twist that you will need to uh, be sure of whenever if you're going to be using him or if you're considering of using him as well. So first of all, how to get Amon? The more the best probably version of how to get him is from the rewards from here on the special challenge. You will be able to get him from the level 8 in here, and again, it all depends on the activity of your server. So even though I am an older server, it's already been it's 9 days left currently, and we're only on getting to level 9 here, finishing it. So it means that my server, for example, is not that active because it's older servers. It will definitely have a little bit more problem than the new servers. Again, it all depends on how much the activities on the server. It doesn't really matter how much damage you do independently. For example, even though these people are doing a pretty big amount of damage, the most value comes from how many people do that amount, at least decent amount of damage. Even though, for example, on my newer server, I am on I think I'm on 16 or something already. Like, I'm very far away, much more far away than this on the newer servers than on here, and that's a little bit of a problem for the older server. It could be again, it depends solely on how your server is going. So with that in mind, hopefully everyone will at least get one copy of Amon. And let's take a look at his kit. First of all, obviously he's a green unit, so we got 2 green units there, both of them being a CCG unit as well. So first of all, let's take the active skill. Deal cleave damage equal to 420% of the attack to the target, so solo target. Cleave for every 5% or more max HP the target has compared to you. Increase the damage of this skill by 2% up to 100%. So if we take a look at the overall strafe list, his HP is not that great. So at least there's at least 12, I mean, he's a 12, so at least 11 characters who are much better in terms of HP than him. So in that sense, getting that 5%, usually all of those characters that are higher than him are the meta characters, especially Anteiku, for example. If you're going to be using him in the actual team, then you're going to be getting this most of the time. So those buffs will always apply. Increase the damage of the skill by 2% up to 100%. So I don't know, like, this seems very, very slow in that sense. Like, maybe on max out 100%, definitely it could be a pretty good damage, but again, this seems kind of slow, especially for example for something like RTA, when it's 1 or 2 rounds and the game is done for the most part, or like 3 rounds at best, and then it a little bit seems a little bit slower on that side. So I would say this looks okay, but then this one is a little bit lackluster. I think if this would be like at least 10%, then it would be much better, much easier to get to 100%, and then it would be pretty fair to even use him in the actual team by himself. That would maybe even make a good cut for there. But let's take a look at his passive skills here. When your turn starts, increase your attack related stats by 5% up to 15. After an allied character uses an active skill, gain 1 aim up to 12 stacks when dealing damage if your aim effect is stacked to the limit. When dealing damage, if your aim effect is stacked to the limit, deal additional damage equal to 30% of the current damage to the target. For every 3 stacks of aim, increase your skill level. Increase damage by 4% for every stack. So this is a pretty good one. It's actually, his passive skill here is pretty good one. Like, getting stacks by active skill, you don't even need to attack with him. He's already gonna be getting the stacks, so if you have 3 turns, so he's basically gonna get already 3 stacks up here, so that means he'll get increase in the damage as well as increase in your skill level instantly after first turn. So in that sense, it's pretty good. It's actually pretty good for like 0 stars. This is very good. I think this is definitely a very good passive for him. Second, first star, for each stack of the aim, you have increased all allied characters attack by 1% up to 12%. When your turn ends, deal cleave damage equal to 220% of your attack to the enemies with the highest HP. Again, this is something like, for example, the Dojimakai Amon does pretty much the same, but in the beginning. So this Amon does this in the end of the turn, so like Tatsura, for example. And it's probably gonna be pretty much the same amount of damage, I would suppose, that the same as the other, for example, like Tatsura does. I think it could be a pretty good damage, not too crazy, but also not too like not nothing. It's definitely good that you're getting some additional damage, especially after all of those buffs. You could be doing a pretty decent damage. Cleave for every again, this is the same as his active skill. Apply weak, increase your basic stats by 5% for 1 turn, so it's nothing too crazy, I guess. 5% buff for basic stats is pretty good. And this is where the tricky part starts. So his third star is actually efficient also in assistance. So increase damage dealt to the targets with the highest HP than yourself by 15% and grant yourself a shield equal to 15% of the damage dealt. The shield effect can be triggered once per turn. So this is the best stuff that he's got. This is actually pretty strong. Increase damage deal against target with the highest HP. So this is gonna be, if you're gonna be putting him, for example, this assistance to someone like, for example, him, his HP stats are very low, so he's gonna be doing extremely much more damage. So together they are actually having a pretty decent like team up with each other, the both half anniversary units. So you would want to use that green Arima on the team, and him as an assistant, he's still gonna get all of these buffs, so increasing damage to the target, basically increasing the vulnerability of the target. Run yourself a shield as well. 15% shields is again, it's of the damage dealt, but still it's a pretty big amount. Again, it depends on how much you will be doing damage, and this Arima has a pretty big amount of damage. Again, he's number 3 in just basic stats on attack. He's already gonna be doing insane amount of damage, and with this you're gonna be doing getting a pretty decent amount of shields. The shield effect can be triggered once per turn. It's okay, like you can get basically every turn you can get this. So you're gonna get 15% shields as well as the basically doing more 15% more damage. So this is a very strong one. And I think in terms of assistance, this could be even more stronger than what we had on Shu here. Or where is that? Mr. M, I mean. Mr. M is also an assistant character, but increase HP related stats by 15% when each turn start. Grant yourself a shield equal to 30% of your lost HP for 1 turn. So this is, again, this requires you to lose HP as well as HP related stats. You're like, again, they're getting boosted, but then you're losing HP to get the more shields here. So that like he works better when like getting to end game. Basically, the further the rounds go, the better he gets. But for Amon, this is not a case. He's good in every turn. He can do it all by applying this. This is very strong. Again, you also can apply it to anyone. You don't even need to use him in the CCG. You can put it into, for example, Aogiri, and put it on someone like where's Ayato here. For example, someone an Ayato could be working. Jason could also work. Again, he's getting some shields that would be great for him. You can apply it on CCG units like this Amon for sure. You can put it even on someone like this Ayato, just for the sake, because again, this Ayato is a little bit lackluster in terms of defense and HP, so he gets easily killed. if you're fighting on the higher levels, he will get one-shotted pretty instantly with any team. So in that sense, it could also give him some specific defense, but most of the time I would recommend putting him in an assistance for the characters that are your main damage dealers, so that you can save them for much longer. Again, for example, if you're playing Aogiri, then go put it on Jason. His defense is already pretty good, as well as HP is okay. So for him, it would be just a good amount additional buff, as well as additional buff for his attack. You can also put it on, again, Ayato. For Anteiku, you can put it on, for example, someone like Toka here, the green Toka, on red Toka as well. If you're using Charm on her, putting this on her is also not bad of an idea. Blue Toka also works here as well. She's got like a pretty standard stuff on everything, but she's like one of the highest out of all of the Anteiku, if we're not taking into consideration the new Shu. This could be very, very detrimental, as well as, like, again, this also Shu, if you're using Shu in your Anteiku, this could be also a very good support for the Shu, especially with Shu having a very bad defense, but his attack stats is very high. So in that sense, getting that shields would be really, really nice. Buffing his shields as well as buffing his attack even more. That's like a very, very solid pick for the character. I think he's gonna be a very good character just purely because of this assistance. Even though these ones are not that bad, but to play him on the field, I feel like there's already a very good synergies between other CCG units, and that in that sense you don't really need him. Let me open my CCG. For example, like this. Imagine this is not Yomo and, for example, someone like Mado in backup here, obviously, but they already have a very good synergies between them. For example, it doesn't matter who you're using here. You can use the light Arima here, for example, and using like two Arimas, Amon and Shinohara there. All of them already have a very strong synergy, so in that sense you don't really need him, as well as his in general, for example, damage wise, he's not that great. He needs a very long time to get the damage in. And because of that, he's a little bit lackluster. His defense is okay, his CP is pretty good as well, but I mean, there's already so many other characters who are very, very strong with what they do. In that sense, you don't really need him. You can switch up maybe for red Arima there, so that you will have now all of your passives on the AoE attack. For example, Shinohara passive, his passive is AoE, his passive is AoE, his passive is gonna be AoE as well, and and for example, Psy Arima's passive is also AoE when he like gets to 1 HP. This is where when he can actually perform all of his machinations with staying alive longer. So that's all. You can go that road as well, but again, the most value he will probably give you is when he's going to be an assistant, getting that free buff for you without needing to have any problems with changing up your setup, as well as leveling him up too much. All you want to go for is like getting him to D, and he's going to be pretty much better than anyone else in your backup. And now you already have two assistance characters in your backup. Because, for example, one is going to be him, and second, your assistant character is going to be definitely Mr. M here, who also should be in your backup at some point whenever you increase them to D. Other than that, overall, what I think about him is I think he's a very good unit, but he's lacking in some senses, and best for only for his assistance. He would be very useful for any team in the assistance, again, only. In that sense, I think he's a very decent character for his assistance abilities. Other than that, hopefully you like the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, as well as I stream every day. We play Tokyo Ghoul, other gacha games. Sometimes I even do some new games that I, for example, discovered. So you can join us on the streams, and if you don't want to miss anything, you can join the Discord, link in the description, so you will not miss any streams. I always post notifications beforehand, before the stream. I always say when I'm going to be streaming there. And hopefully you have a great day. I'll see you on the next one.